Taurus, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for late July 2022. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, my friends, and start you off nice and smooth with an oracle card, just so we could dip our toes into energy and see what's going on for the lovely Taurus collective. I hope you're all doing well, my friends. But my gods, talk to me. What do we got for Taurus? And yeah, we're just going to look at this first card real quick, then we'll get into the full tarot reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card with the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you could lean in on. It's always very interesting. So let's keep it moving here. What do we got for the Taurus collective? Real quick, my gods. I mean, I will say this, over the past few weeks, your readings have been quite interesting. Okay, so we have this very powerful intellectual energy here. Your mind could be extra sharp, okay? Or you could be honing those intellectual skills. Now, before we really dive into this, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the July subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. Also, if you're active on social media, my handle on all platforms is @KyleofCups. So please feel free to hit me up on the platform of your choice, anything except Facebook. But into the reading, enough of the plugs there. If you look at this card, you see that monkey. It's dressed up as Shakespeare. It's holding a skull. It's contemplating its life. It's behind a typewriter. There's binary code and equations all over this card. So to me, this does talk about intellectual or sharp intellectual capacities, right? So whether you're trying to feed knowledge to your brain, your mind could be sharp. In this time, nobody's going to get anything past you. Your mind, your wit, seeing through things could be extra strong here. For some of you, this card could even represent problem solving, okay? You might be dealing with certain situations where it's a real mind scrambler that you need to figure things out, complex things. But I would say this bodes very well for an active yet sharp mind, sharp intellect. This is very good. So we're going to put that to the side. We're going to get into tarot now. As I always say, that card doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get some sword action in this. Okay, with the strong intellectual properties. We're going to shuffle it up one time. Let's get you these first three out here before we get the juicy intuitive stuff. What's up with Taurus? Now, last week's reading was titled A Karmic Blessing. The week before that, there was a warning about those who you associate with. The week before that, there was karmic energy again. So I usually say when karmic energy shows up in a spread, it does linger for a little bit, especially with my readings. So we're going to see what we have for you this week. All right, as I always say, energies are always up and down and changing. We're just looking at a snapshot here. So only take it how it hits for you, of course, because this could be other people in your sphere. So let's get these first three cards out for Taurus, my God. So what do we got for Taurus? Late July. Thank you. All right, we got some Eight of Swords here. So I'm not surprised that we have some sword action right here in the front. We'll talk about that. This could be someone that's a bit nervous, a bit on edge, or possibly feeling trapped. Let's get two more. Okay, we got the Magician. Good. You're going to want to watch your thoughts in this time for certain. All right, we're going to get one more, especially with the Eight of Swords and the Magician. Really watch your mind state. Watch what you're focusing on. And I'll go into it a little further. And yeah, we're getting a similar message here. We have Temperance on the back end. Taurus, this is going to be a very layered reading. So we're going to go through one by one. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get the juicy intuitive stuff. So at first glance, two of the main cards are major arcana. Those usually represent big themes and archetypes, possible changes. But in position number one, we have the Eight of Swords. Notice it's usually somebody that's blindfolded, surrounded by swords. Okay, so sure, this could represent mystery. This could represent hidden things, things you don't quite see because of the blindfold. Surrounded by the swords, you might be feeling trapped in some kind of way. You might be feeling like your hands are tied. It could be as minor as having cabin fever, but it could also be major where like you can't change something, even if you wanted to for the time being. I also say that this card could represent anxiety, nervousness. So watch, you might be overthinking in this time with a card like this. And the reason I say watch your thoughts is especially because of how these cards progress. We have the Magician right next to it, followed by Temperance. Okay, these are very spiritual cards. They're very angelic cards, all right? And I'll explain more when we hit Temperance why the angelic energy is important. But the Magician could speak about interest in spirituality. This could represent ritual. It is another card that's linked in with psychics, intuitives. Your intuition may be flaring up in this time, but it's the biggest card of creation. It is a card of control as well, if we look at the inverse of it, but I'm not going to go there until we clarify. This could be you creating something, whether you're purposely doing it or whether you're not. So really watch your mind state, watch what you're focusing on here, because that could be a warning, but we'll get more into it when we clarify. On the back end, we have Temperance. Now, this card could represent a Sagittarius in your life. If you're not linked to a Sagittarius, this is a super important card for spiritual protection. Usually depicted on this card, I believe, is the Archangel Michael, the protector, one of the most powerful archangels. So spiritual protection can be at play when this card shows up. And it does talk about taking your foot off the gas, having patience in something, letting something relax. But another beautiful thing about this card is that it's about alchemical type of energy, similar to the Magician, which is sometimes called the Alchemist. So we have this alchemy going here in the back end, this spiritual alchemy. You might be changing the way you practice your faith or practice your spirituality when these cards show up. But just know that you are being protected by Spirit, or Spirit could be trying to converse to you in some kind of way with this alignment going on here. But we're going to have to dive deeper on all of it. So let's do that. Let's jump in and clarify. All right, let's get a good shuffle here for the Taurus Collective, please, my guides. What do we got for Taurus? And yes, my friends, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on this Eight of Swords. And as always, if you read tarot yourself, that's why this box is here. Please feel free to play along. If you're feeling any messages from this spread that you want to give to Taurus, you could just drop it down in the comments. I don't mind. So why is this Eight of Swords here for my Taurus friends? Thank you. Yeah, Judgment. Okay, yeah, this is absolutely somebody that is having a very, very overactive mind. Judgment, once again, is an angelic type of energy. So we're having this book ending, and I do usually believe that Judgment has Gabriel on it. Okay, don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure in the classic version, Gabriel is on Judgment. So Spirit could be trying to speak to you for sure, especially with Temperance on the back end. But this is a big action card. It's a big movement card. Spirit could be wanting you to make some sort of big action or change, okay? Don't ignore your intuition in this time for sure. But the first intuitive vibe I was catching with this action plutonian base of Judgment, it's powerful, it's movement. So just know how powerful your mind is in this time. A lot of you can be prone to overthinking certain topics. A lot of you can be prone to thinking about something so much that you bring it into your life. So beware of that. This is a warning. But this can be very high, frazzled types of energies like nervousness. This could be someone you're linked to as well. I'm not saying this is only you. This could be someone in your sphere that is extremely on edge and nervous about something. Their mind is just going a mile a minute. For some of you, you might need to break free, okay, of some sort of prison, whether it's literal or figurative. Spirit might be wanting you to lose the shackles of something. If you've been feeling trapped, if you've been feeling bogged down by anything, whether it's a behavior, whether it's a situation, an individual, Spirit might be wanting you to break free. We're going to move over to the Magician. Pardon me. Why is this Magician here for Taurus? I feel like I spent too much time there. Okay. Determination could be very important with the Seven of Wands underneath this Magician. This could be somebody that can be their own worst enemy at times, okay? So you might be connected to somebody where, like, it's very difficult for them to be happy and stay happy, right? This is somebody that really could be their own worst enemy. That's just what I'm feeling here with the Seven of Wands under this Magician. Now, for another portion of you, this could be a very important or serious test from Spirit, okay? With all these angelic energies and the Seven of Wands, usually I see this card as it's me against the world, or just test after test after test from Spirit. So under this Magician, aside from the message I was just given, this could be some sort of serious or powerful test from Spirit that they want to see how you respond to something. And I always say this before we move further. Spirit puts us through certain situations and cycles for a reason, okay? And if we don't respond, if we don't learn how we're supposed to, we're doomed to repeat it. Okay, I'll just say that. That's something I've noticed with myself. It's something I've noticed with a lot of people in this world. If you don't pass those tests from Spirit, you will get a redo, whether you know it or not. We're going to move over to the Temperance card. Then we'll do a recap before we get into the shadow card. Interesting stuff. Taurus, I will say this, every week your readings always intrigue me. They're always super layered. So why is Temperance here? I do feel overall you are a protected individual with all this action. Okay, we got our good friend, the King of Cups, aka Kyle of Cups with a beard in a beautiful throne in this rendition. Love it when he shows up, but notice he is in reverse. Okay, this is absolutely Spirit trying to reassure you about something. Now, for a portion of you, if you're connected to a water sign, you might be having issues with them, with the King of Cups in reverse. For a lot of you, you really might need to calm down or not get emotionally or romantically attached to somebody. Okay, that's only for a portion of you, but now might not be the best time to get romantically attached to somebody. Some of you might just not have an interest in it at all. But with our good friend Kyle of Cups here in reverse, this could be erratic emotions. This could be up and down emotions. So this could be a warning about your emotional state. Spirit could be saying like, hey, in this time you might be up and down, so be warned about that. But the beautiful thing is we have Temperance above it. Okay, so whether it is Spirit assisting you with that, taking the edge off a little bit, even if you don't know it or feel it, know that you're spiritually protected and everything will be okay, everything will be fine. Okay, this could be Spirit like asking you to take yourself out of the pressure pot. If you feel like there's a lot of pressure building up inside you, this is Spirit saying like, hey, take a break, take a rest if you need it. Okay, life is all about slow and steady action, but we also need to take rests, especially if we're feeling like volatile in any kind of way. But like I said, some of you might just not be interested in love things, or Spirit could be telling you not to really throw energy into that for the time being. Throw it into yourself. But let's go through real quick. I'll give you a recap before we get into the shadow card. Position number 1, we have the 8 of Swords with Judgment in the upright. This was making me feel a lot of things. Extremely active mind. So if not you, somebody else you're connected to is just overthinking, and they just can't stop it. Okay, this could be nervousness, this could be anxiety, but this is also Spirit saying that if you're imprisoned in a literal or figurative way, Spirit might want you to break out of those shackles. Okay, moving into the center, we have the Magician with the 7 of Wands in the upright. Some sort of serious or important test from Spirit to see where you're at, to gauge your progress is possible. But I was also getting the vibe of somebody being their own worst enemy. So make sure you don't do that. Moving to the very back end, we have Temperance with the King of Cups, Kyle of Cups himself in reverse here. So like I said, this could be a warning about your emotions, your emotional state. It might be very up and down, volatile. It's fine. So much angelic spiritual energy here. You are protected, and for some of you it might not be the best time to involve yourself in any romantic situations when we see that, or you might just not be interested in anything new. So we're going to get you one shadow card here. Please take a screenshot of that if you'd like to look into them further. I always encourage that because all cards have so many different meanings. Well, let's see what's going on here. The Taurus, please. What's in the shadows for my friends? Let's put a nice neat little bow on this. What's going on for Taurus? And I love to end off every reading like this. I feel like it's a nice little inverse look about what Spirit could be warning us about, something we should work on. Okay, we have the 9 of Cups. One of the most positive cards in the whole entire deck. Big card linked in to wish fulfillment. So this could be a warning from Spirit saying be careful what you wish for, or the grass isn't always greener on the other side, especially if you're focused on change or a very specific thing. Be careful what you wish for is what this says when it's in the shadows. Another thing with the shadow side of this card is a warning against overindulgence of any pleasure of the flesh whatsoever, whether it's eating, whether it's drinking, whether it's romantic things. Spirit could be warning you about that, like not to overdo anything. We did have Temperance in the main part of the spread as well, so this links in perfectly. But I do feel like be careful what you wish for is part of it as well. So Taurus, that's what I have for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet. I'm going to give you the details of the July subscriber surprise. For the July subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 2 copies of the beautiful Light Seers Tarot. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed, which I'm sure you already are. And second, let me know down in the comments, which tarot card would you like to have a conversation with? It could be anyone. I know I'd want to talk to the High Priestess. But yeah, after that, you'll be entered to win. And at the end of July, I'll put the winners in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love to you, and I'll see you next time.